So, Prince William strips a home tied to Camilla's family from the Duchy of Cornwall's portfolio, and no one in the royal inner circle saw it coming. The property, occupied on soft terms by someone close to the Queen, suddenly finds itself under new scrutiny, with William's lawyers issuing a stark reminder: a lease is not a birthright. The fallout ripples through the palace, exposing an uncomfortable truth about the shifting power dynamics within the monarchy. But here's where it gets interesting. This isn't just about one property. It's about William's broader review of the duchy's leases, a £1 billion estate he inherited in 2022, and how he's quietly dismantling the old order. The reason his lawyers gave for ending the arrangement? That's what shocked everyone. Okay, so let's walk through it all. How this unfolded, why it matters, and what it says about the future king's grip on the crown. So let's rewind to understand the roots of this tension, because it all ties back to Diana. Princess Diana, who died on 31 August 1997, left behind not just a legacy but a family fiercely protective of her memory. William, just 15 when he lost his mother, has always been her most vocal guardian. Kensington Palace's sunken garden, redesigned in her honor and unveiled with a statue on 1 July 2021, is a testament to that. It's a space William and Harry commissioned together, a place where Diana's spirit feels tangible even decades later. And the thing is, Diana wasn't just William's mother. She was a symbol of modernity, warmth, and change, in a monarchy often seen as rigid and cold. Her absence shaped him, and continues to shape how he approaches his role as the future king. Now fast forward to William's inheritance of the Duchy of Cornwall on 8 September 2022, the day Queen Elizabeth II died at Balmoral. The duchy, created in 1337 to fund the heir to the throne, is a sprawling estate worth over £1 billion. It's not just land, it's power. And William, as Duke of Cornwall, is now its sole custodian. But here's the twist. The duchy isn't just a source of income. It's a symbol of continuity and control, and William's approach to managing it is distinctly his own, breaking from tradition in ways that have quietly unsettled the old guard. Take Highgrove House, for example. Bought by the duchy in 1980, it's the Gloucestershire home Charles leased personally and spent decades transforming into a horticultural masterpiece. Today, because the duchy belongs to William, Charles pays rent to his son's estate for a house he no longer owns outright. It's an awkward reminder of the monarchy's generational shift. And it's not just Highgrove. William's review of the duchy's leases has landed on a property occupied by someone close to Camilla, someone who'd grown accustomed to soft terms under the old order. The reason his lawyers gave for ending the arrangement? That's where things went nuclear, exposing the fault lines in this new era of royal power. And the thing is, this isn't just about property. It's about legacy. Diana's legacy, William's vision, and the uncomfortable truth that a lease is not a birthright. As one palace insider put it, this is William drawing a line in the sand. He's not his father, and he's not his grandmother. He's his mother's son. Stick around, because the fallout from this move is just beginning. So, let's set the scene. It's October 2026, and the royal family gathers at Highgrove House for a memorial event to mark the 30th anniversary of Diana's death. The gardens, once a labor of love for Charles, now serve as the backdrop for a day that feels fraught with unspoken tension. Camilla is there, of course, carefully positioned in the second row, her presence a reminder of the complicated history that brought her to this moment. William stands front and center, flanked by Catherine and their children. The cameras click away, capturing every glance, every subtle shift in body language. This day was supposed to belong to Diana, to her memory, her legacy. But the whispers in the room suggest it belongs to William now, and the decisions he's been making as Duke of Cornwall. And the thing is, everyone knows what's coming. Just weeks earlier, William's team quietly informed a member of Camilla's inner circle that their lease on a duchy-owned property couldn't continue. The reason? The arrangement no longer met the estate's strategic priorities. Translation: it didn't fit William's vision for the future. Lawyers cited a clause in the lease that allowed for termination if the property's use didn't align with the duchy's broader goals, a clause that had been overlooked for years. The decision wasn't personal, they said. It was practical. But in a family where everything is personal, practicality feels like a declaration of war. Camilla's circle was blindsided. They'd assumed the property was theirs to keep a perk of proximity to the crown. But William's review of the duchy's leases, part of his broader plan to modernize the estate, left no room for sentiment. He'd already announced plans to release roughly 20% of the duchy's land, a break from tradition that signaled his intent to reshape the monarchy's financial foundations. And now, this. A lease stripped, a message sent. As one insider put it, William's not just reviewing leases, he's reshaping the family. The tension at Highgrove that day is palpable. Camilla, ever the diplomat, maintains her composure, but her careful positioning speaks volumes. She's not front and center. She's not taking the lead. She's there as a supporting player, her presence a quiet acknowledgement of the new order. William, meanwhile, carries himself with a quiet authority that feels deliberate. He's not just honoring his mother, he's asserting his place as the future king. And the cameras capture every moment, every unspoken exchange, fueling the headlines that will dominate the next day's papers. But here's where it gets deeper. This isn't just about property. It's about power, the kind of power that shifts quietly, behind closed doors, until it's impossible to ignore. William's move against Camilla's circle is a reminder that the monarchy is changing, not just in name but in structure. He's not his father, content to preserve the status quo. He's not his grandmother, who believed in the sanctity of tradition above all else. He's his mother's son, carrying forward her legacy in ways that feel both personal and political. And the fallout? It's just beginning. Within weeks, whispers of discontent emerge from Camilla's camp. Sources close to her suggest the decision felt targeted, a way for William to assert dominance in a family that's still adjusting to his leadership. Others defend the move, framing it as necessary for the duchy's future. But one thing is clear: William isn't backing down. As another insider put it, a lease is not a birthright. My grandmother understood that better than anyone, and it is time the rest of this family remembered it too. So, as the cameras continue to click and the family moves through the memorial event, the quiet tension lingers. This day was supposed to belong to Diana, but as the sun sets over Highgrove's gardens, it's hard to escape the feeling that it belongs to William now, and to the future he's determined to build. So let's go back, way back, to the beginning of this mess, or at least the chapter that set it all in motion. Diana Spencer married Prince Charles on 29 July 1981 at St. Paul's Cathedral. She was 20 years old, a kindergarten teacher from Norfolk, and he was 32, the future King of England. The wedding was a global spectacle. 750 million people watched it on TV, but the cracks started showing almost immediately. Diana later confessed in her infamous 1995 Panorama interview, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." That third person, of course, was Camilla Parker Bowles, who'd been Charles's long-term companion before Diana, and remained so throughout their marriage. The Panorama interview, aired on 20 November 1995, was the breaking point. Diana spoke openly about Charles's affair, her own struggles with bulimia, and the isolation she felt in the royal family. She was like a grenade thrown into the middle of the monarchy, one palace insider later said. The Queen, Elizabeth II, responded by urging Charles and Diana to divorce, which they did on 28 August 1996. Diana retained her title as Princess of Wales but lost her Royal Highness styling, a move that was both symbolic and deeply personal. Fast forward to 31 August 1997, Diana dies in a car crash in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris. She's 36 years old. her boyfriend, Dodi Fayed, and the driver Henri Paul also perish. The only survivor is Diana's bodyguard, Trevor Rees-Jones. The news shocks the world. In London, crowds gather outside Kensington Palace, laying flowers and writing messages of grief. They pile up in mounds so high that palace staff struggle to keep up. Her funeral is held on 6 September 1997 at Westminster Abbey. Two moments dominate the day. First, the sight of William, 15, and Harry, 12, walking solemnly behind their mother's coffin. It's a haunting image, one that stays with anyone who sees it. Second, Charles Spencer's eulogy. Diana's brother doesn't hold back. He calls her the most hunted person of the modern age and takes aim at the royal family, accusing them of failing to protect her. She needed no royal title to continue to generate her particular brand of magic, he says, a line that still echoes today. Diana is buried privately on an island at Althorpe, the Spencer family estate in Northamptonshire. The site becomes a pilgrimage destination, with thousands visiting every year to pay their respects. Her legacy, meanwhile, grows larger in death than it ever was in life. She's remembered as the People's Princess, a title first coined by Prime Minister Tony Blair, and her influence on the monarchy and on her sons remains profound. But here's the thing, Diana's death didn't just leave a void in the royal family, it left a blueprint. Her sons, especially William, internalized her struggles and her mistreatment. They saw firsthand how the institution could chew people up and spit them out. And now, as William takes control of the Duchy of Cornwall and begins reshaping its operations, it's impossible not to see Diana's fingerprints on his decisions. He's not just asserting his authority, he's rewriting the rules of engagement rules that failed his mother and, in his eyes, failed the monarchy itself. So when William says, "A lease is not a birthright," it's not just about property, it's about power, legacy, and the weight of history. He's making it clear that the old ways, the ways that hurt his mother, are over, and whether the family likes it or not, the future belongs to him. So let's talk about Highgrove House. It's not just any property, it's the Gloucestershire home whose gardens Camilla helped make famous, a place that's become synonymous with her partnership with Charles. But here's the twist. Highgrove sits on land the Duchy of Cornwall bought in 1980, and Charles has been leasing it personally ever since. Now, with William as Duke of Cornwall, Charles pays rent to his son for the home he's lived in for over 4 decades. Awkward? Absolutely. But it's also a reminder that William's control of the duchy isn't just about finances, it's about authority. And in this case, it's authority over the woman who, for many, still stands in Diana's shadow. Camilla's place in the royal family has always been complicated. She married Charles in 2005, long after Diana's tragic death, but her ascendancy to queen consort, and later queen, has never sat easily with everyone. Diana's memory looms large, and Camilla has navigated her role with a mix of caution and determination. But here's where it gets tricky. Camilla's financial footing is precarious. She receives no separate annuity. Her official work is funded through the sovereign grant, leaving her dependent on the crown rather than any estate of her own. And while she owns Ray Mill House privately, bought in 1995 and kept in her own name, her ties to the duchy and now to William are unavoidable. Now, let's pivot back to Diana. In July 2021, William and Harry unveiled a statue of their mother at Kensington Palace, a moment that underscored her enduring legacy. The statue, commissioned by her sons, was a reminder of Diana's role as a mother, a humanitarian, and a symbol of change within the monarchy. But it was also a statement. Diana's memory is not just a personal matter, it's a public one, and her sons are its guardians. William, in particular, has taken this responsibility seriously. He's spoken openly about how Diana's struggles shaped him, and his decisions as Duke of Cornwall reflect that. When he says a lease is not a birthright, it's hard not to hear echoes of Diana's battles with the institution, her fights for independence, for respect, for a voice. So when William moves to tighten control over the duchy's leases, including the one tied to Camilla's circle, it's not just about property, it's about legacy. It's about who holds the reins of power and who gets to define the monarchy's future. And for William, that future can't be divorced from his mother's past. Diana's mistreatment by the institution has become a lens through which he views his own role, a cautionary tale that informs every decision he makes. Here's the kicker. Camilla's family has benefited from soft terms within the duchy before. Her sister, Annabel Elliot, has carried out paid design work on royal properties, an arrangement that's drawn scrutiny over the years. And while there's no suggestion of wrongdoing, it's clear that Camilla's circle has enjoyed a level of access and privilege that, in William's eyes, may need reevaluation. This isn't personal, at least, not entirely. It's about ensuring that the duchy operates transparently and fairly, that no one is above the rules. But in a family where every move is loaded with history and symbolism, it's impossible to separate the practical from the personal. And then there's the Diana statue, unveiled in the sunken garden at Kensington Palace. It's a space William and Catherine have carefully curated, a tribute to Diana's love of nature and her connection to the public. But it's also a reminder of her complicated relationship with the palace, a relationship that ended in heartbreak and scandal. For William, the statue is more than a memorial, it's a statement of intent. It's a way of reclaiming his mother's narrative and ensuring that her legacy is honored on his terms, not the palace's. So when William tightens control over the duchy's leases, when he asserts his authority over Highgrove and the properties tied to Camilla's circle, it's not just about the present. It's about the past. It's about Diana's legacy and the lessons it holds for the monarchy. And it's about the uncomfortable truth that, for Camilla, Diana's shadow is never far away. The future may belong to William, but the past, Diana's past, is always part of the equation. And in that equation, Camilla's place is anything but simple. Okay, so Catherine steps in. She's wearing Diana's sapphire engagement ring, the one William gave her in 2010 at their engagement. It's not just jewelry, it's a symbol, a signal. Catherine's bond with Diana's memory isn't just about the ring, though. It's about the way she's quietly taken on Diana's causes: mental health, homelessness, children's welfare. She's not just William's partner, she's Diana's successor in the public eye. And right now she's standing beside William and George, a united front. But here's where it gets complicated. Catherine's presence isn't just about support, it's about strategy. She's been careful, measured, almost surgical in her approach to royal life. She's avoided scandal, built bridges, and earned respect, something Diana struggled with in her later years. And yet, there's a tension here. Because Catherine's role isn't just about the future, it's about the past. So when William moves to tighten control over the duchy's leases, when he asserts his authority over Highgrove and the properties tied to Camilla's circle, Catherine's there. She's not just standing beside him, she's part of the decision-making process. And that's significant, because Catherine's not just supporting William, she's reinforcing the narrative that Diana's legacy is being honored on their terms. And the thing is, Camilla knows this, she's always known it. Diana's shadow looms large, and Camilla's position has never been straightforward. Even her coronation in 2023 couldn't erase the past. Camilla's sister, Annabel Elliot, has worked on royal properties, and that's drawn scrutiny. Camilla's own private retreat. So Catherine's presence isn't just symbolic, it's strategic. She's there to remind everyone that the future belongs to William and to her. And as she stands beside him, her gaze steady, her posture unshakable, it's clear something is about to be said, something that will redefine the balance of power within the family, something that will make it clear, a lease is not a birthright. And then it happens. William speaks, his voice calm but firm. "My grandmother understood that better than anyone," he says, "and it is time the rest of this family remembered it too." It's a line that stops everyone in their tracks. because it's not just about the property. It's about the past, the present, and the future. And in that moment, Diana's legacy is alive, and Camilla's place is anything but simple. The room holds its breath. The words hang there sharp, unflinching. A lease is not a birthright. Prince George stands beside his father, his small frame rigid with a tension far beyond his years. His voice doesn't waver. My grandmother understood that better than anyone, and it is time the rest of this family remembered it too. It's not the words themselves that cut, it's the echo. William's face does something then, something no one expected. His composure cracks. His jaw tightens, his breath hitches, and suddenly, the man who never shows weakness is fighting back tears. His hands clench at his sides, the weight of 3 generations pressing down on him. Diana, Charles, Elizabeth, George, the past and the future colliding in a single, unbearable moment. Camilla doesn't move. Her expression doesn't flicker, but her hands, the Queen's hands, tighten around the edge of the table, knuckles paling under the strain. Across the room, Anne watches with narrowed eyes, silent. Charles looks away. The silence stretches. No one speaks. No one dares. Because this isn't about a house. It's about the unspoken truth everyone has spent decades avoiding. That the Duchy of Cornwall was never just land, just money. It was power. The power to shape a family, to decide who stays and who goes. And William, standing there with tears in his eyes, isn't just reclaiming property, he's rewriting the rules. The lawyers shift in their seats. The numbers were one thing, the duchy's £1.05 billion, the 27 million in profit, the 20% of land William plans to release. But this is personal. Camilla exhales, slow, deliberate. Her gaze never leaves William's face. There's no anger there, no plea. Just a quiet, unbearable understanding. The lease for Highgrove Charles's home, her gardens, belongs to him now, just like everything else. And then, just like that, the moment passes. William straightens. The tears don't fall. He swallows once, hard, and the mask settles back into place. But the message has been sent. A lease is not a birthright, and the future has already begun. So here's the thing. It's not about the lease. Not really. It's about what happens next. The moment hangs in the air like a blade sharp, final. Camilla doesn't argue. She doesn't need to. The record speaks for itself. Highgrove's gardens may bear her touch, but the land beneath them belongs to William now. And that's the point. A lease isn't a promise. It's just paper, and paper can be torn. The fallout is quiet but profound. Camilla's circle, those who've long enjoyed the soft terms of royal favor, feel the shift. Her sister, Annabel Elliot, whose design work has graced royal properties for years, watches as the old arrangements crumble. It's not just about her, of course. It's about the entire system. The Duchy of Cornwall was never meant to be a safety net for the extended royal orbit. It was designed for one thing, to fund the heir. And William, he's not just the heir anymore. He's the future king. The tears he shed in that meeting weren't just for Highgrove or Camilla or even Charles. They were for Diana, the woman whose bloodline now pulses through the monarchy's heart. Her absence is felt more acutely than ever, a ghost in every room, every decision. William carries her with him, not just in his features, but in his choices. This move? It's Diana's legacy, remade. A reminder that ties forged in secrecy and scandal can't compete with the bond of a mother and son. Camilla's standing diminishes, quietly but irrevocably. She's still the queen, still Charles's wife, but her position feels thinner somehow. The duchy isn't her safety net, and it never will be. She has Ray Mill House, her private retreat in Wiltshire, bought with her own money in 1995. It's hers, truly hers. But it's not Highgrove, it's not the gardens she helped make famous, and it's not the life she might have imagined when she married Charles in 2005. The monarchy is built on unspoken rules. and William has just rewritten one of them. Permanently. The cost is steep. The family fractures a little more, though no one says it out loud. What was broken in 1997, the trust, the unity, the sense of invincibility, can never be repaired. William was just a boy then, but the scars run deep. He grieves a grandmother he never met, a mother he barely had. Elizabeth II understood the duchy better than anyone. She knew it wasn't just land or money, it was control. And now William wields it with a precision that would have made her proud. But here's where it gets melancholy. The monarchy survives. It always does. But it's not the same. The old order is gone, replaced by something sharper, colder. The tears William didn't shed in that meeting, they're still there, just beneath the surface. The mask he wears is flawless, but it's heavy. The weight of the future, of the past, of everything in between. And then, just like that, it's over. The moment passes, but the impact lingers. The lease ends. The property changes hands. The duchy moves forward, reshaping itself for a new era. William doesn't look back. He can't afford to. The message has been sent, clear and unflinching. A lease is not a birthright, and the future has already begun, because in the end, the crown doesn't care about gardens or homes or even people. It cares about power. And William, standing there with tears in his eyes, has just reminded everyone who holds it now,